Morning, students. This is KG Mishra, and again I have come with the next part of the video uh, on chapter sources of energy for class 10th. Okay. In previous chapter, we have discussed about the uh, characteristics of a good source of energy. Okay, and we have discussed different ways of classification of sources of energy. Okay, classification on based of uses. Okay, that means which was used earlier. Okay, and which has being used modernly. Okay, and then the renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. Okay, now we have discussed about the fossil fuels also. Now there are different fossil fuels, so we will study about them one by one. Okay, so today we are going to study about the coal. Coal is a very common form of fossil fuel. Okay, so what is coal? See here, coal. Coal may be a mixture of carbon, that is C, hydrogen, that is H, oxygen, that is O, nitrogen, that is N, and sulfur, that is S. Why this maybe is there? Because see, there are different types of coals. Okay, and all the coals do not have all these. Okay, some may be having this carbon, all are having carbon, remember. Okay, but some may have only carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, some may have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Okay, some may have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur, all. Okay, so that's why here may be word has been used. Okay, so basically they are having carbon is very important that they are having. Okay, so that's why we are writing coal may be a mixture of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. Okay, now how it is formed? It is formed by thermal degradation of wood of trees which got buried in the earth millions of years ago. Okay, what happened? Millions of years ago, the trees which were buried under the earth, no, they were under very high pressure, high temperature. So they degraded, their degradation occurred and they got converted into coal. Okay, so this is all about the coal. Okay, just note it down. Note it. Okay. See, wood gets converted into coal. Okay, converted into coal in following steps. Okay, wood gets converted into coal in following steps. Okay, carbon content of coal increases in every stage. Okay, so first it is wood when buried under the earth at high temperature and pressure, then it becomes peat coal. Okay, so here whatever carbon content is there, here the carbon content is going to increase from that. Okay, and other elements will decrease gradually. Then this from peat it gets converted to the lignite. Okay, lignite is better coal than peat. Okay, it has got more carbon content and other elements are reduced gradually. Okay, and from lignite it becomes bituminous. Okay, bituminous has got even more carbon content and other elements are lesser in that. Okay, that like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, this decreases but carbon increases. And then finally what we get? Anthracite. Anthracite is the best form of coal. Okay, best type of coal which is utilized in industries. Okay, so in this way the wood is formed. Just note down these steps. Okay, see this table. This table is all about the comparison of different types of coals. Okay, see here types of coals are given: peat coal, lignite coal, bituminous coal and anthracite coal. Okay, and here are the headings under which we are going to compare them. First, carbon percentage, second is color, third is calorific value. Okay, do you know what is calorific value? See, calorific value of a fuel is that, no, when you are going to burn 1 kg of that fuel, okay, whatever heat it is going to generate, that is called its calorific value. Okay, rather you can say if you are going to burn 1 gram of that fuel, no, so whatever heat it is going to generate, that is called its calorific value. Okay, so amount of heat generated per gram by the fuel is called calorific value. Clear? Now see, carbon content first we are talking. See, peat coal has got 30% of carbon around. Okay, in peat coal you will find 30% of it is carbon, and remaining 70% it is hydrogen, oxygen, okay, nitrogen, sulfur. These all things are there. In lignite coal, the percentage of carbon is 38 to 40%. Okay, around we can say 40%. Okay, average, or 39% average. Okay, so better content of carbon than that. Bituminous coal has got 65 to 70% of carbon. It's much better than that. Okay, and it's better form of coal. Anthracite has got 94 to 98% of carbon. You can understand, only 2%. Okay, hydrogen, oxygen, and these things elements are there of very less amount. Okay, so that's why this is the best form of coal. Okay, because more carbon, so more better it will burn. Okay, and produce more energy. Okay, now see color. When we're talking about color, peat is of yellow to light brown color. Okay, some you will find yellowish color, some of light brown color. Okay, lignite, it is a brown color. Okay, bituminous, it is a black color. Anthracite, it is bright black color. Okay, it is black and shining, bright black. Now we are going to calorific value. Peat has got lowest calorific value, means when you are going to burn 1 gram of peat coal, it will give very less amount of heat and light. Lignite, it has got high calorific value. So if you burn 1 gram of lignite coal, it will give you much more heat than the 1 gram of peat coal when burned. Okay. Bituminous coal, it is even higher than that. Okay. And what about anthracite? It is highest among the coals. Okay. So it has got highest calorific value. So this is the best, and this is the, you can understand. Okay. So just note it down. Okay. Now next is uses of coal. Okay. First is processed peat and bituminous coal are used as household fuels. Okay. They are used as household fuels. Okay. Which? Peat and bituminous coals. Processed one. Okay. Not simple. Second is coal is used to manufacture coke, coal tar, and coal gas. Okay, these things are used manufactured from coal. Next, see, there are some chemicals like toluene, 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 phenol, 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 naphthalene, NEPHTHALENE, naphthalene. Okay, anthracene, ANTHRACENE. Okay, anthracene. Okay, then benzene, 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 etc. compounds are prepared using coal. These compounds are prepared using coal. Okay, so these are three examples we have given. Okay, two more are there. Okay, just write three, then I will give two more. Okay. See, fourth use of coal is used to prepare natural gas. Actually, natural gas, it is produced naturally, but for laboratory preparation, okay, for artificial preparation, we use coal to prepare the natural gas. Okay, in the same way, petrol, petrol can be prepared artificially also in laboratory. Okay, so for preparation of petrol, artificial preparation of petrol, we use coal. Now fifth one, anthracite. Anthracite, you know very well, it is the best form of coal. It is used in industries, okay, and thermal power plants. Thermal power plant where electricity is produced. Okay, so for generation of electricity, we use anthracite coal over there. Okay, so these are the uses of coal. Okay. Now see, next is disadvantages of coal. Okay, when you are using burning coal for different purpose, so what are disadvantages? First is produces carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, like greenhouse gases. Do you know what are greenhouse gases? Actually, these are those gases, no, which when present in the atmosphere, no, they absorb the infrared rays which are coming from the sun, okay, and when they absorb it, they don't allow the infrared rays to escape from it. So infrared rays remains inside these gases for longer, and when it will remain longer, no, you know, infrared rays are also called heat waves, okay, so they are carrying heat with them, and that heat is absorbed by that gas, okay. So what will happen when the gas is absorbing the heat and gas is present in the atmosphere, okay, so atmosphere will get heated up, no, and earth also get heated up, okay, and that's why we call it greenhouse effect that occurs, and that's why the temperature of the earth is rising day by day. People say, no, that if the temperature keeps on rising like this, then what will happen one day? All the glaciers will melt and whole earth will be underwater, okay. So that is called greenhouse. That's why it is called greenhouse gases, okay, because they are responsible for greenhouse effect. The second is it leaves as residue on burning. So when coals are burned, then you know ashes are left after left behind, okay, which causes respiratory problems. See, actually these ashes they can fly in air, okay, and they causes respiratory problems, okay. One feels choked, okay, due to these. It produces nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide gases. It produces oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, okay, which causes rain, acid rain, okay. Because see, nitrogen when mixes with water, then it will form HNO3, nitric acid, okay. And when this sulfur dioxide mixed with water, then it may form sulfuric acid, okay, and that will cause acid rain. Clear? Okay. See, next fossil fuel is petroleum. What is petroleum? Again, you know, it is also produced due to the buried vegetations and the animals which are buried under the earth for millions of years. Due to high temperature and pressure, it is formed, okay. So it is again a fossil fuel. A fossil fuel which is viscous. Okay, viscous means which can flow, you can know, and a very thick one. Viscous means thick one. Like, you know, honey is more viscous than your coconut oil, okay, so it is more thicker. So it viscous, dark colored, it is of dark color, okay, fluorescent liquid, okay, smells, okay, it gives a smell, full smell, found deep inside the earth is called petroleum. We also call this as crude oil, you know, it is of actually dark color means it is of black color, okay, and that's why it is also known as black gold, you know, because petroleum products are costly, you know, and that's why it is called black gold, okay. So note down the definition for this petroleum written, okay. Next is refining of petroleum, okay. See how this refining is done. First start writing, okay, or I should explain first? Okay, I will explain first. See, actually big furnace is there, okay, and it is done by the method of fractional distillation. See what happens, no? In this crude oil, it has got different components, okay. So some components actually vaporize at very low temperature, okay. So in this furnace what happens, first it will get lesser heat, then as it will go down it will get more heat, again as it will go down then again it will get more heat, and again it will go down it will again get more heat, okay. So first of all, the component which get vaporizes faster, whose we can say boiling point is lower, that will vaporize first, okay, and so it goes off, actually path is there, okay, in this furnace, like this, okay, path is there, so from here it will go and will get collected over here, okay, and the remaining will go down, and then again the second one will vaporize, okay, and will go like this and get collected, again the remaining will go down, okay, clear. So the component which has got the lowest boiling point will vaporize first at lower temperature and will go out and will get collected over here. The second one and the remaining will go down, and the out of the remaining which has got the lowest boiling point will again get vaporized because it is getting heated more and more as going down. So it will again move from here and get collected over here. Okay, and the remaining will again go down, and out of the remaining whichever has got the lowest boiling point, that will get vaporized, and again it will get collected here. Okay, and again remaining will go down. Okay, in this way the different components of crude oil are collected in different chambers, okay, in the increasing order of their boiling point. Okay, clear? So which has got the lowest boiling point will collect it here, which has got the little bit more than the boiling point, then more than first one, that will collect it after that. Which has got even more boiling point than that, then that will collect it next. Which has got even more boiling point than that, then connected next. Okay, in this way they will get got collected. Clear? Okay, this is called fractional distillation, and this is the that setup, okay, with the help of which it is done. And this this is called refining of petroleum. Okay, now I think you start writing. You understood? So start writing. Crude oil is heated in a furnace. Crude oil is heated in a furnace, and its vapors are collected to a vertical column. Full stop. Less volatile components get condensed and return to the lower part of the column. Full stop. The more volatile components condense in the upper part of the column. Full stop. The uncondensed component goes out as petroleum gas. Full stop. The various products obtained during refining are as follows. Okay. See, the products obtained due to refining of the crude oil are these. Okay. First is LPG. You are very much aware of LPG. Okay. It's very common to us. Petrol. Okay. Third is diesel. You know very well. Kerosene. Okay. Fuel oil. And then lubricating oil. Lubricating oil, like grease is also lubricating. Okay. Lubricating oil, that mobile oil, which we call. Okay. Lubricating oil is a mobile oil. Okay. Which is used in vehicles, in the bikes. Okay. And so that is called lubricating oil. It reduces the friction of the piston in the vehicles. Okay. Next is grease. Grease, you know, it is also lubricating substance. Petroleum jelly. Don't remember? Okay. You might be using this Vaseline petroleum jelly during winter. Okay. You might be using lip balm. What it contains? It contains Vaseline petroleum jelly. Vaseline petroleum jelly, it's obtained from it. That is crude oil. Okay. Now, what is this? Paraffin wax. Paraffin wax, actually, it is the wax. Okay. from which you get the candle, which used to light when it is dark, okay, when it is required, or in candlelight dinners, or during your birthday, okay. So that is paraffin wax obtained from petrol, okay, that is petroleum, that is crude oil, okay. So these are the things we obtain from this refining of the crude oil, okay. Our next topic is thermal power plant, okay. I've drawn a diagram for you, just see this is the boiler part, okay. What is there in boiler part? First this is there, okay, where the burning takes place. What is burnt here? Coal or natural gas or fuel oil, either of them, okay. Some are using coal, some are using natural gas, some are using fuel oil, whatever is available for them, which are whatever is available for them at the cheaper rate, okay, and easily transportable. Actually it is the production, it is whatever is produced nearer to that power plant, okay, that they used to take. Otherwise transportation charge will be huge, no, and that's why. So these whatever is available, that is burnt here to produce heat, and when heat is produced, actually this contains water, okay. So that water will get heated up, that's why it is called boiler, okay. So when water gets heated up, no, then it gets converted into steam, okay. When gets converted into steam, then what will happen? It passes from here. See, this is a narrow pipe. So what will happen? The steam will pass through this with a high pressure, okay. And as it is coming with high pressure, then what will happen? See, you can see a turbine is there. It will hit the blades of turbine, okay. See, it is turbine. It will hit the blades of turbine, and blades of as it will hit the blades of turbine with very high pressure. What will happen? Obviously the turbine will start rotating, okay. As the turbine will start rotating, turbine is connected to generator, okay. What generator will do? It will produce electricity. And now after hitting it, where this steam will go? Obviously it will cool down, it will fall here and go into the cold reservoir, where it will get condensed, okay, into water. And once it is condensed into water, using pump through this pipe, this pump used to pull this water and it's used to send here again, okay. So in this way this process goes on in the thermal power plant, okay. So the water is heated and then using fossil fuels, okay, and then it is converted to steam, and steam rotates the turbine, and turbine produces electricity, and then the steam goes to the colder reservoir, and there it gets condensed into water again it is pumped to the boiler, okay. So this is the process of a process which is followed in thermal power plant, okay. So I think you've understood. Draw this diagram. I can write the story. Story means it's working, okay, how it works, okay. See, next is hydropower plant, okay. Just see here, this is the river water which has been obstructed by constructing dam, okay. In the dam there is a tunnel, but this tunnel is blocked by a gate, and this is called sluice gate, okay. This sluice gate can be slided, okay, mechanically, and this gate can be opened, and whenever it is required it can be closed also, okay. As this dam is constructed, so river water, no, comes and gets collected over here. That's why it is called water reservoir, okay. As water will not able to flow ahead, so what will happen? It will keep on rising, and it rises up to here, okay. And when it reaches to up to height, then what happens? This gate is opened. When this gate is opened, then what will happen? This water will start flowing through this. Now see, this water is coming from height to downward. So what will happen? It will be moving with very high speed. When it is moving with a high speed, no, what you find here, see, this is a generator, and this generator is connected to a turbine. You can see the blades of turbine, they are like this. So when fast moving water is coming and hitting this turbine will start rotating. The blades of turbine, when the water will hit the blades of the turbine, then blades will move backward, and so what will happen? The turbine will start rotating and the water will go ahead. As the turbine starts rotating, then what will happen? Generator produces the electrical energy, that is electricity. and the water which moves ahead, that is again utilized for irrigation and other purpose. Okay, clear? So this is the way the hydropower plant works. Once again I'm explaining. See, the river water is blocked by constructing dam, so water stops over there, and as it is not finding the way ahead, so it gets collected, okay, and it acts as a water reservoir. In this dam only we have got a sluice gate which can be opened mechanically. When it is opened, then obviously water flows downward with high speed through this tunnel. In the tunnel only you will find there is a turbine which is connected to a generator. The blades of the turbine, when the blades of the turbine are hit by fast moving water, then the turbine starts rotating. When the turbine starts rotating, then the generator produces electrical energy. Okay, and after rotating the turbine, the water moves ahead and it is utilized for agriculture purpose, that is irrigation and other, maybe for drinking also. Okay, clear? So this is the whole story about this hydropower plant. So you can draw. If you're not able to draw this one, you can draw the from NCERT and you can write about its working. Okay, how it works. I've already explained you the working. Clear? Okay. Now see, what are the advantages of hydropower plant? First advantage, it does not causes any pollution. Okay. Second advantage, it protects from flood, because see, lots of water can be collected over there. So if rain is heavy, then also there is no problem. Okay, up to certain extent. Okay, if it is very heavy rain, then obviously no one can stop. Okay. Third, it produces very economical electrical energy. Okay, it is not going to be very costly because you are not going to use the fossil fuels, so its cost of production is less. Okay, 3 points. Fourth point, the water which is used for producing electricity can be utilized for irrigation, for drinking. Okay, it's not polluted at all. Okay, now what about fifth one? See, in case of yes, it is a renewable source of energy, because your water, no, it is water cycle is there, so you're not going to lose water. Once it is gone, it will get evaporated, again will go to the sky and again will come down in the form of rain. So again you will get the same water, no problem at all. So it is inexhaustible. It is not going to exhaust. Okay, source of energy. Clear? So these are the 5 advantages of hydropower plant. Now what are disadvantages of this? See, first thing, yes, some more advantages. Like see, you might be knowing that people used to go to the dams, no, for picnic and other things. So it is a nice picnic spot also. Dams are there. Okay, that is also an advantage. Now disadvantages even I'm coming. So on all the rivers and everywhere, dams cannot be constructed. That is the first thing. Second thing, when dams are constructed, then after the dam, okay, the water in the river is reduced. Okay, it is less. Okay. Okay. Next is, in every river the fast moving water is not available. This is third disadvantage. Fourth is that for constructing dam we require lots of fertile land near the river. Okay, so that is the waste of fertile land, we can see. Fifth, when we are going to construct the dam, the area around the river is evacuated. Okay, so people are delocalized from there. Okay. So they lose their land for that, for few pennies. No? So that is also one of the disadvantages of this. So these are the disadvantages of this hydropower plant. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. Okay, see, next is wind energy. Okay, you might have heard about the windmills, giant windmills. See, they have got their blades. Okay, now see, this wind energy actually, first thing is that it can be set up, windmill can be set up the places where the wind is found almost whole year. Okay, most part of the year. Okay? Wind is blowing, and it is blowing with a speed more than 15 kilometer per hour. Okay, if it is blowing slower than that, then it cannot be utilized, and we cannot construct over this windmills. Okay, so for what is first thing, the wind should be there almost whole year. Okay, most part of the year the wind should be there most part of the year, full stop. The speed of the wind must be more than 15 kilometer per hour. Okay, these are the minimum requirements for constructing windmill. Okay, now see what happens when the wind is blowing, then it hits the blades of this windmill, and this blade starts rotating. The blades are connected to an axle, that axle rotates, and that axle is connected to a generator. Okay, and that generator produces electrical energy. Okay, these are the wires through which the electrical energy is generated. Okay, not this much only. Windmill is also used for pumping water. Okay, like see, these are the, suppose here you find, here it is the windmill, okay, which has got its blades. Okay, these are the blades, okay, and here it is something like this. Okay, and here you have got this is the ground. Okay. Here it is the ground. It is like this, and it contains a system which is somewhat like this. It is like this, and the water can be filled from this, and then what you will find here, pipe is there, which has gone to the underground water. Now see, when it is rotated, then what will happen? First it is down, so it will go and it will press here. Here a part is there which is called check ball. Okay, it will press the check ball. Okay, as it presses the check ball, the water from the underground pipe, okay, comes in here, and this gets filled. Once it gets filled, what will happen? Here, not this side, suppose this side you have got a tap like this. Okay, so what will happen? This is filled. Now as it is rotating, so what will happen? This will go up. That means it will go like this. When it goes like this, it will lift. It will lift this one. That means this will get lifted by this part when it is in this position. As it is lifted, so it will come. It will bring the water here, and what it has got hole. Okay, so water will come out of it and will fall through this. Okay, so it keeps on doing like this, and water. It takes the presses check ball, collects the water and releases here. Goes down, press the check ball, collects the water and releases here. Okay, here. Goes down, press the check ball, collects water, releases here. So in this way, water starts coming from here. Okay, so it is also used for pumping water. Actually, this is nothing but hand pump. You might have seen it is the part of hand pump only. In hand pump, what we are having? We are having a handle connected to this. And when we press it, this handle pulls this up and the water comes out. Okay. Here we are not using handle. We are using this windmill for taking out water. Clear? So in this way, it is used for taking out water, underground water also. Okay, as a water pump. Clear? There are some more uses also. It can be used for this. Different machines like flour mills, okay, rice mills, okay, different places wherever the motion is required. Clear? So you can draw it and write about it. Okay. Now advantages of wind energy. First thing, it is inexhaustible. It is inexhaustible. It is not going to exhaust. Okay. Second thing, it is free in nature. Okay, we don't have to pay any cost for that. Okay. Third thing, it is pollution free. Okay, it doesn't causes any pollution. Okay. Third thing. Fourth thing, okay, it is efficient. Fourth thing is it is efficient. Okay, clear? Now next is disadvantages. Okay. Now disadvantages of wind energy or windmills. Okay. First is that no, although wind is free, no, but uh, initial stabilizing cost is very high. Okay, when you want to establish windmill, then you have to pay, you have to invest a huge cost for that. Okay. Second one, it requires a large area of land. Okay, it requires large area of land. Two, you written. Third, the there are very less places where the frequency of wind is very high throughout the year. Okay, where the wind blows throughout the year, this type of places you will find very less. This is third disadvantage. Fourth, there are very less places where the speed of wind is more than 15 km per hour, which is the minimum requirement. Okay. Okay. Fifth is, as windmills are open to the weather conditions. Okay, rain, okay, moisture and everything, so there is a great chance of getting wear and tear, rusting and other things. So high level of maintenance is required, so it is again costly. Okay, so these are the 5 points of disadvantages as far as this wind energy is considered or windmill is considered. Okay, so with that I wind up this video. Okay, uh, will come with the next, I will come with the next part. Okay, till then keep on studying. Okay, take care of yourself. Bye bye.